Well, good evening, gang, and welcome to It's All About Arts. My name is Glenn Williams, and I'm your host, and we're coming to you live from our beautiful studios here at B&N TV, and you're more than welcome to join us if you'd like. Give us a call at 617-543-7... No, that's my telephone number, 617-710-3290. Come on, give us a call if you'd like to let us know what's going on in your life. Please feel free to get on the phone and give us a call. They're answering the phone in the other room. You can join us and let us know what's happening artfully in your community. Amanda is on location. There's that number again, 617-708-3290. And if there's a block on your phone, star 82 or 84 will get you straight to the cats here in the office, and they'll let you know what's put you in line to talk to us. I hope everybody's having a splendid May, now that May has gotten started. I want to start off by, number one, thanking everybody who was who showed up in Dedham at the Dedham Square Coffee House on Saturday night. Thank you very much for coming out. It's always a pleasure to perform, and I did it a little differently this time. I decided I was going to play alone, solo. I'm usually with my great friends Tim Casey and Andy Hollinger, but we've been so busy with all kinds of projects and different things going on. I was concerned about whether or not we were going to have a lot of rehearsal time. So I decided, I've performed alone in the past and have enjoyed it. So I decided to do the whole night myself, and it was a great experience. It was a lot of fun because I get a chance to talk. I get a chance to tell some stories and let people know about the songs that I've written and why I do them. And so it was a lot of fun. And the other surprising thing was the reaction I got, because I guess it was streamed live on Facebook, so the performance is out there. At least the first half is out there for people to check out if you weren't there. But the views were incredible, the number of views and the responses to how we pulled it off. Thank you very much for everybody's attention to that. It was fun. A couple of other things going on. This Thursday at Sacred Heart School in Rosendale is the annual art show. That's where we feature all of the phenomenal artists in that educational facility. And as you know, I'm the arts director there, and I'm the art teacher and stuff, so the kids get a chance to not only hang there, it's not, it's kids art on the wall, but there's more to it than that. There'll be kids that have an opportunity to explain their process, who talk about their inspiration, who are going to share the way they perceive the piece that is on the wall. It's not all flowers and trees and barns. There's a lot of interpretive, abstract work done by kids who are 7, 8, 9, 10 years old. So if you find yourself in the Rosendale area, it's going to be showing all day until 6 o'clock. So please come on by. I'm going to be sitting in there with some choice kids, listening to some music and talking about art, probably doing some projects, getting some stuff done. So come on by and say hello. It'll be great to see you, and I know the kids will appreciate your participation in their art show. So that's this Thursday. Come on by. The other thing that is going on is very, very soon, around the corner, is this Friday, May 12th, yes, at 7 o'clock is the dinner for the Rosendale Day Parade. I guess I am extremely humbled and very, very proud to say that I've been selected as the Grand Marshal of the parade this year. And that means I get to kind of walk up front. My co-Grand Marshals is my school, Sacred Heart School, where I studied in the 60s, and my sisters at the same time studied, and my daughter studied in the 80s. And now I'm teaching there. So it's going to be a very, very, I think it's going to be an emotional night Friday. I get to speak a little bit it's also about my community involvement, how I get involved in doing different things in Rosendale, Jamaica Plain, West Roxbury area. But it's going to be a lot of fun because the Sacred Heart Choir is going to perform. and there's going to be Dance Explosion's going to be there, and they're going to be performing. So it's a dinner and all of that. So come on by. I'd love to see everybody. We're very excited about it, as I think I should be. So it's going to be quite an occasion. We're going to tap into just a little bit more. I did get some responses, and I'm going to talk to my guests tonight maybe a little bit about it. See, I asked them beforehand if there was anything they didn't want to talk about. They said no. So I'm going to actually give them an opportunity to think about this for a second. But it's not going to be the focus of their interviews. I mean, I have two phenomenal artists that are going to be joining me in just a little while. But one of the things I continue to talk about, and I know that it's very, very important, it's the involvement of the arts in our education of our younger citizens. I mean, there's always been that, free period for the teachers. I'm saying this as a teacher, so please don't take offense, my fellow colleagues out there, but, kind of putting out the crayons and putting out the paper and letting the kids draw some scenic pictures or mountainous range or faces with smiles isn't necessarily always an art education. It's kind of an art break, and it's an opportunity for kids to be creative. But an arts education comes into talking about the color wheel and asking this very serious question: how many colors are there? And kids go, oh my goodness, there's millions and millions and millions of them. But then when you kind of get them to think about color management as, well, there's really three colors, and everything else is a combination of those three. They go, oh? And now you're thinking about art. Now you're thinking about how art is perceived and how art is created. That's more education. That's more teaching somebody about the combinations of greens and combinations of green and red. How do I get to brown? How much is the percentage of yellow do I use with red to make a real orange? Or that tertiary color when I throw more yellow in there with the red. There's all of that conversation that we're having with kids, 4, 5, 6-year-old kids, and it's part of their education. It's not, here's some crayons and draw something. How important is that to the critical thinking that kids use when they've figured something out, when they've solved the problem? Does that wash over to their mathematics, their science, their technology, engineering, math? That everyone's familiar with that STEM theory of the curriculum, where science, technology, engineering, and math is kind of combined so that you can throw some. The math and engineering is obvious. The math and technology and science is obvious. But talking about engineering and technology, or science and in engineering, getting all of those to work in some cognitive fashion has been a successful educational process for a while. And everyone says, well, we always have the arts in there because you have to do some blueprinting, and you have to do this, and you have to kind of do that, and you have photography, that's an art. And language arts, I get into that argument all the time. Is language arts an art? Or as we call it in Rosendale, an art? It is, but the question kind of comes, where's the critical thinking there? Understanding how literature works, and understanding how grammar works, and how sentences are formed, and breaking down how paragraphs are put together, and getting formulating your message is an art. There's no question about that. So that's one of the things that is in the forefront of my mind all of the time, being an art teacher, and being very fortunate to be working in an environment that has this stream where I am, because we also infuse religion, because it's a Catholic school, it's a Roman Catholic school, all that other. But aside from that, getting the art involved in technology, where you're coding or where you're trying to get this, creatively formulate the pages of websites, or getting the colors into it, or working with mathematics and getting the combinations of colors to make these beautiful other hues. is something that I think is intricate and important and critical to the education of our kids. I put it to you this way, and I put it to you this way before. 2 plus 2 makes 4. There's no question about that. There's no debate about that. There's no gray area. 2 plus 2 is 4. And the kid gets that. Yes, 2 plus 2 is 4, and they walk away. Okay, I've done that. But when you give kids, 3-year-old kids, 4-year-old kids, 10-year-old kids, 3 paper plates, one with some blue paint, one with some red paint, and a little white paint. You ask them, just take a little bit of each one of those colors and mix them together. Purple, bye-bye, okay, very, very, cool. But then you take one of those kids and ask them to walk around the room and find the exact same purple that they just made. They can't do it because the combinations are so varied, and they're so different, and they're so diverse. And the thing you see on that kid's face is not 2 plus 2 is 4. You see this, it's mine. The possession of the creation, of the victory of this being my purple is something that instills in our younger kids that victory, needed victory, other than the multiplication tables. I hope I make sense. I hope that if you have any comments or want to be involved in the conversation, please go to our Facebook page. It's conversely called It's All About Art. And like us over there, and add a comment. Let's start the conversation. I'd like to hear from other teachers who are fixed in desks in a row, in the blackboard, and writing, and kids doing this and going home and doing it again. And that kind of an education is very, very important. It is. It's the way I grew up learning. But is it the only one? I don't know. Is it? I don't know. What we're going to do is we're going to take one quick break, and I'll be right back in just 1 second. Please don't go away. I think that we have a message. Listen, I'll be back in just a couple of seconds. Don't go away. And we're back. Thanks for hanging in there with us, gang. It was just a little technical thing. I guess I knocked my mic off. I hope you heard all that. You know what? I'm going to do it again. No. I won't rant and rave anymore. It's not really ranting and raving either. It's kind of being passionate about something that I feel really, really, really passionate about. To use 2 words in the same sentence. It's really, really important because I can see the benefit that a lot of our younger students are getting from having this kind of exposure to the arts. In their education. I mean, it follows them from class to class, this whole STEM and STEAM and STREAM process. It follows them from class to class. They're going to show up, because you're collaborating with the other teachers in the major educational formats, when they get to this class, when they get to my art class, they're going to go, oh, I heard that. And Mrs. Gervin was talking about how blueprints and stuff work. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, Mrs. Carcetti was saying in technology about how the colors in the computer are a little bit different. There's that whole green is a primary. So there's all of this kind of collaborating in the continuation of the lesson plan. Is very, very important. Before we get going any further, I do want to take a couple of minutes to talk a little bit about the people that keep us on the air here. I'm very, very fortunate and happy to be affiliated with the Boston Main Streets program. Boston Main Streets is the volunteer-driven organization that helps revitalize business districts around the city. We've been at it here in the city of Boston for about 35 years, and I'm can't tell you how proud I am of the work that they've done in different areas of the city, Chinatown, East Boston, South Boston, Jamaica Plain, and especially my home little corner of the city here, Roslindale. If you see somebody, in fact, their big event, their big thing one of the things they do is the farmers market. It's going to be starting June 3rd, right in Rosendale Square. I'll be there. I am the host for those things, and I help with the music. I set up all the music, sound, and stuff. Opposite people, Jay Pageant from Jamaica, from High Park, is going to be there performing with his big band. So come on down and see us. But Main Streets has been at it for a long, long time. So if you see anybody in a Main Street t-shirt, make sure you thank them for me. Tell them that you appreciate their involvement in this thing we call community television. And it's all about arts, because we really do appreciate everything that they do for us. The other thing I'll take 1 minute or two to talk about is this amazing building that I'm in. Boston Neighborhood Network is the access station for members of the city here in Boston. Many, many years ago, the legislature decided that people needed a voice. People needed an opportunity to go and be able to use this cool wave television thing to get their voice out. And they made it mandatory to have these in many cities. And Boston's cable access stations have turned into the blueprint or the example for the way things are supposed to be done. We're very, very proud of the work that they do here. The station you're watching right now, Channel 9, is called News and Information. So if you have a nonprofit out there and you want to get on TV and talk about your mission, bring in guests and get people to understand the job you're trying to get done for your community, this is the place to do it, this station right here. There's another station we also have, Channel 23, where it's a little more arty and people get to produce their own television program. And what you do is you become a member and you end up taking these amazing courses in Final Cut Pro, how to do lighting, how to do the cameras, how to edit, and then you end up, signing out the cameras down there, and you're going and doing the local debate at the library, and editing it downstairs in this incredible state-of-the-art television recording lab downstairs. Timothy Smith has provided the best computers available for people to do editing, and then they put it on TV. So if you're interested in doing something like that, this is the place to be. Go to www.bnntv.org, click on Jim Atwood's name, and he'll direct you to any of the people here and this amazing staff of people here to get you started here, producing your own television program. We're celebrating 20 years here. It's been a long time, and we love it, and it's a great way to not only get our message out, the arts, but to meet a lot of incredible. I learn something new every week. And without even having my guests on yet, I know I'm going to learn something cool today. So this is kind of what we do here at BNN TV. The other thing that we do here, I have to say hello, Peter, and hello, Lisa, out in, I think is it Colorado? Yes, it's out in Colorado. Who have tuned in for the last couple of weeks and got an email from them telling us that they really, really enjoy. We're streaming live all over the place. If you go to that website, www.bnntv.org, and click on what's playing now, up we come. So these are the technology types of things we get to do here. So we'd love it if you could join us. Listen, we're going to take a quick break. We're going to come back with our first guest. You're going to be fascinated. It's really, really cool. So listen, gang, you're watching BNN TV's It's All About Arts. My name is Glenn Williams, your host, and we'll be back in just a minute. Don't go away. Well, welcome back, gang. Thanks an awful lot for staying and hanging out with us. We have a really, really interesting and fascinating show for you tonight, as we try to do every week. But I'm glad that you stayed here. Remember, if you go to that Facebook page, this program will be up on there sometime in the near future, and so it's a great opportunity for you to come back and check out some of the stuff you might have forgotten, or if you see something that's really, really kind of cool and you like and you want someone else to see, you'll be able to see it there very, very soon. But right now, it is my great, great, great honor and pleasure to introduce you and welcome to the show, Elisa Adams, Dr. Elisa Adams. Hello.
Nice to meet you. Good to
it's
see
my
you, Glenn.
pleasure. Thank you for coming in.
Thank you.
Did you find us okay?
I did. I got a little lost at the other end of Washington Street, but I did get here on time.
Thank you very much for being here. You are not only an accomplished doctor of chiropractic, but we're not going to talk about that as much, but you are a sculptor.
I am.
And this is some of the work we've got kind of hidden out here. How long have you been chipping away?
Well, I started about 12 years ago taking a class at Cordova.
Oh, one of my favorite places.
It was great, just before they closed the museum school, which was unfortunate. But it was a fabulous class in stone and wood carving.
Yeah.
Which I was just intrigued by. I had never done it before.
Yeah.
And it was a 3-month class. It was fantastic. At the end of it, I was delighted with what I made because I'm interested in art anyway. And this just really... It just made my soul sing when I started to do it.
Has art always been, have you always been involved in the arts in some way? Have you been painting or kind of doing this?
I love doing art. I really wanted to be an artist growing up. And I come from an immigrant family. My father was born in Albania, and my mom was first generation here, so I'm first generation on my dad's side. And I was not allowed to do art.
Whoa.
It was like you have to be a professional woman and make your work, and then you can do your art after.
Then play.
Yes.
Yeah, that's an interesting observation, because I'll tell you that is the way. That is the way sometimes.
Yeah, they worked hard getting here. So anyway, I did that. I've been a chiropractor for the last 32 years, and now it's time to expand into some other things as I'm sort of heading into semi-retirement. So,
do you think that the two combine in any way?
They're fantastic together.
Yeah,
it's the touch and the feel, which is why I love this art form more than painting or drawing. I love that last piece where you get to feel this. You get to see what this is like and get the texture of it.
Yeah, it's really. This one here really fascinates me. I love this one here. If we can grab a shot of this, because it's. You're right, the touching of it and the way it feels. See how it looks out there? That's beautiful. I see it. I see a polar bear.
Well, that's what it is for you then.
Yes.
So whatever you think it is.
Does the work sometimes become that interpretive? I mean, is it something that people have to kind of discover?
Yes, mostly I do a lot of abstract. I have not brought any of my abstract work, although you'll see it.
We have some things to look at in a bit. Yeah.
But I do some more realistic or figurative work.
Yeah. Well, Lisa, let's talk about the process. Let's talk. I mean, is it I found a piece of stone and I see something in there, or is it an adventure?
Mostly it's an adventure for me. So I get my stones in New York at a place called the Complete Sculptor, and it's this huge warehouse by the Holland Tunnel. And I go down the basement, and you have a squirt bottle. And you walk around and they have these huge bins, like here would be one bin of alabaster and the next bin over there.
Chunks, different chunks?
Different sizes, different colors, different stones themselves, soapstone or alabaster or marble. And the way you really see what the stone is going to come out like once you polish it is by wetting it.
Ah, yes.
So they have all these water bottles.
So it's very raw.
It's very raw. And you just go around, squirt and say, I like that shape, I like that color. And then a lot of times for me, I just see something in it.
You do see something. And I try.
Or sometimes it's very organic, which is the way I mostly like to work.
Yeah.
I like to just let it evolve and happen as,
See, I wonder, because I love sculpture, and I don't think I have the patience to do this. I'm an abstract.
It's a lot of hours.
I'm an abstract painter.
Yep.
And for me, the hours are before I even pick up a brush.
Exactly.
And I have to become this feeling. And then the adventure starts for me, and it's often over very quickly.
Yep.
Do you hold and sit and feel and let the let the piece of material talk to you as well?
Yeah, and partway through the process, I learned in one-week course I took in Italy that a lot of people were working on multiple stones at once.
That was my next question.
Which was really great. I had never done that before, and it was really great because I often come to impasse where suddenly I'm not seeing what I want anymore. And when I force it early on, when I was doing this, I got frustrated because things weren't turning out the way I wanted to. So now when I'm at that place, I call it the wall of shame, although I should call it now the wall of potential or something. But I sort of just set it somewhere where I can get a glimpse as I walk by, and it just eventually washes over me like, oh, I could do this instead, or I could change it this way. And so having that breathing time, I think, is really successful.
Yeah. Do you have a space where you work?
Yes, I have a studio space I share with friends, which I am now creating a real space in my home for.
Good.
My husband's a contractor, so he has the whole basement with his tools, and I was granted a space a little smaller than your desk, which every time I'd come home had
really?
all of his things on it compared to the whole rest of the... So I was kind of like, okay, I got to do something different because I was cleaning up his stuff so that I could work.
Right.
But I'm going to make a really nice studio.
That's great,
I'm
because
in
I think
process.
it's really, really important for artists, especially when you're talking about that, not light going out, but when that moment slows for you, to be able to walk away from it and maybe go to this and do a little bit more of that, or go for the walk, but come back, may the walk be 2 days,
Right.
and come back and the space is the same.
Yep.
I find that. Do you have anything that inspires you? I mean, are you listening to Nine Inch Nails or some classical music when you're working?
A lot of when I'm really, in the beginning when I took this class, I was so excited about it that I was making a lot of sculpture. And the class stopped because the school closed down at De Cordova. And a couple months later, the woman who was the next teacher in the class said, you know, I have a basement space in Belmont, you know, so 6 of us got together every week, every Tuesday.
That's awesome.
Some people were just artists, that's what they did in their life, and then there were people like me, you know, they were very beginning at it, and we were like the sewing circle of hammer and chisels, all of us women, it was great.
I love it.
So we shared a lot of ideas together, and that was really a wonderful time. And then I started doing just a lot of self-discovery after that, but inspiration comes from the stone itself, colors, things like that, but I really love
I'm going to turn this
not
a little bit so
only
you can see this side of it too.
nature, but like nature on a smaller level, seeing shapes and curves, and, you know, not just a flower.
Right.
Looking at, well, what happens when I look with a microscope or something? What did those veins look like? And I like that feeling.
I'm going to ask a real layman's question.
That's okay.
Okay? How big was this before you started? Because I have this really crazy thing.
This big. No. That piece, no. And actually, that particular stone comes from Mexico, and it's a vein in the stone.
It's
So you
unbelievable,
can't get like a big chunk of that. You only get these sort of thin slabs of this particular stone.
The unfinished is as beautiful
I
as
love
the
weaving.
rest. Isn't this gorgeous?
Yeah, it's great. So,
But do you start with a bigger piece and kind of whittle your way down to where?
not something big to this small. No.
Yeah. So
But-
you saw this.
Right.
Yeah.
So these are my really small handheld pieces.
Right.
I make other pieces.
Right. Don't we have some pictures?
There should be some images.
You know, why don't we take a look at them and you can walk us through and
Okay.
maybe answer my question a couple of times for me?
Yes, so this was, I swore I was never going to do any kind of figurative work. And I took, for my 50th birthday, although I'm only 35, no, I took a class in Italy for 2 weeks.
How's
and
that?
the woman, it was amazing.
Oh
I was
my
looking
goodness.
over the Riviera. It
Oh,
was fabulous.
of course. No inspiration there.
And so she did figurative work, and I thought, all right, I'll try something. So this particular piece I call Contemplation, and it took me a year to make her. She is.
How big is she?
She is, I think, about 22 inches long.
Right.
She's a much larger piece. She weighs about 35 pounds.
Oy.
And so I started a little body of figurative work, although I'm back to my abstract, because that just really is what makes
That's
my
what you
heart
do,
sing. Yeah, people get to see what they see in it, and I love that, you know. Here are some of my more abstract pieces. The green one is about the size of the bear that you see, and the brown one's a little bit larger. But as you can tell, I really love openings and curves and twists, and I'm fascinated by making things wrap around, and I'm playing
Right,
with that idea.
right.
So
Are these one pieces of stone?
no, those are 3 different stones.
No, I know the 3 different colors, but I mean, is that orange one piece of
That's
stone?
one piece of stone, and that's about 25 inches high. That's a big piece.
That's a
Yeah.
good one.
Yeah. This one is called Momentum. It's made out of white alabaster.
Oh, beautiful.
And that is a medium-sized piece. And it actually was a piece that I stole from an old piece that I was unhappy with, and I've come to sometimes rework some of my pieces. So
You
it's
have pieces that
completely
called
different.
out to you, say, there's something else in
Yep,
here?
exactly.
Yeah, yep.
Exactly. So that was one of them.
Oh, my goodness, look at these.
Yeah, and the one on the left is my most recent piece. It's called Odyssey, and oh my God, I just sold that piece, and I was
Very
really
cool.
jazzed. That was one piece where I kept working and trying and
Yeah.
changing and doing. It was so organic.
How is that process of moving a piece?
It's fabulous.
Is it hard? Oh, I'm sure it's fabulous.
I love it.
But
It's
I mean, is it like?
Oh, for carrying it around, you mean?
No. For someone to take a piece and walk away.
Oh, I hope not. It hasn't happened yet.
It happens to me all the time. I go like, and then, it might be someone or you'll run into them later and they'll say, oh, look at this picture where I hung it, and it's kind of cool.
Yeah.
But I do get kind of attached. Because you're an abstract artist, and this is something I ask abstract artists, when do you know you're done?
That's a great question. Somehow something hits where you just think, okay, it's been enough sanding. I mean, the process is tedious.
Yeah.
And
to get
it's
this
a
as
different
smooth.
form.
If this is raw, to get it like this, I
Right.
can only imagine.
So it's a different form than painting or drawing, because that you're adding to something. In sculpting, it's subtractive, you're taking away.
Yeah.
And so you have to be careful about how
no
much you take
putting
away,
back.
because there's no putting back at that point, right? So that's one part of the process, hammer, chisels,
Yeah.
files.
Yeah.
I do have some electronic equipment that I
Right.
use,
We
but mostly it's hand pieces.
we're kind of coming up against it, but I told I have this vision also of tap 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 and this beautiful head falls
Falling off. Yeah, that has happened, and you just get sad for a few minutes and go to plan B.
Get out the
It
broom.
has happened. It doesn't happen as much now because I hear the stone differently now.
Yeah.
So you can hear the
Can you
sounds
see
where...
when you're getting to a soft spot?
Definitely. Or I
Is it
can
a soft
hear the
spot or
way-
is it like a?
Sometimes it's the veins in the stone that are different, or
Yeah.
it's the particular stone, like this is soapstone.
you should be able to see
So
it.
this one is more, you have to be more tender with it,
Yeah.
because it will be more sensitive.
Doctor, I want to thank you for coming
Thank you
in.
so much for having me,
Do you
Glenn.
have a
It's been
show
wonderful.
coming up where people can kind of
Well,
come
it's
by?
exciting. I've started from nothing, and I've done about 40 shows now. I just came from the Art Expo in New York. It was a juried-in thing, which was phenomenal. I walked in, and there was just hundreds of artists and galleries, and I was blown away. And I actually show at Abigail Ogilvy's gallery in SOA, in the SOA Arts District in
Right
Boston.
here.
So I'm being represented there right now, which is wonderful.
Congratulations. What's the website people can go to?
For my art?
Yeah.
You can see it at www.elisaadamssculptor.com.
That sounds like a great. You were lucky to get that.
Yeah, and
With
then
all the Adamses around Boston.
I know, and then you can also look at Abigail at abigailogilvy.com.
Thank you so much for being
Thank
here.
you again.
It's my
It was a
pleasure to
total
have
pleasure.
you. Please don't be a stranger. I know you kind of live out a little bit, but if you got something major coming up, give us a call and come on
Perfect.
back
I
here,
would
and
love
I'd love
that.
to have you back, okay?
Great.
Thanks.
Thank you so much.
Listen, gang, we'll be back. We're only halfway there. We'll be back in just 1 minute. Please don't go away. We got another great guest coming up. Well, welcome back, gang. Thanks an awful lot for hanging out. And right now, it's my great pleasure to welcome back. How are you doing, Tally Forbes?
Thank you
great
very
to see you,
much, and
Tally.
I'm doing great.
Welcome back. How are you?
I'm good.
Good,
I'm
good, good, good,
It's
good.
been a while, a couple of years, I
It's been
think.
a couple of years. How have
Yeah.
things been?
Well,
Are you
life
still
is an
painting?
adventure.
I'm sure you're still painting.
I'm still painting.
That's
yes.
great. I'm glad.
Yes.
What's new and exciting in Tallyland?
Well, in a funny kind of way, what's new and exciting is I feel like everything is kind of changing.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to stay open to that. So your whole intro to the show was particularly interesting to me because, I'm lucky enough to be able to say, okay, well, I can paint differently now. The hard part is fear kicks in.
Yeah.
Oh my God, what am I going to do if I pick up that paintbrush?
Yes.
But anyway, I'm trying to enjoy it. And
Well, that's all part of the motivation and getting inspired and oh my God, what am I going to do?
Exactly.
And because as artists, we're so dependent on the acceptance of others.
Yes, indeed.
That
Yeah.
sometimes we look at it and look at ourselves and go, oh.
Yeah.
Am I ready to bare my soul this much so differently than I know that's been kind of accepted?
True.
That's a scary road to take, isn't it?
It's a scary road to take, for sure, and I'm sure writers do it, and I was having a conversation with one of my grandkids who's learning to be a jazz singer, and she was talking to me about riffing and how hard that is for her, and I thought, that's my struggle.
Yeah.
It's the same kind of thing.
Yeah.
Fine if you show me, there's a photograph and I'm going to do my best to copy it, but that's not what I want to do. So,
that's art, and everybody, there are people that can do that, and it's very good.
Beautiful.
But you're right, putting out that. What is the change? What crazy thing have you decided to do that scared you so?
So, can we pop up some of the photographs?
We want to put up some now. Yeah, let's do that.
If we look at this first group, so I was off in California for 6 weeks this winter because 2 of my kids live out there.
Yep.
And I decided I'd try to paint a portrait or a face, not necessarily a likeness of a person.
Yep.
Every day while I was gone.
Really?
Yeah. So I ended up with about, if you actually go 6 times 7, I should have come home with 42, but I came home with about maybe 20.
Yeah.
And these 4 I just thought were fun to bring. These are 4 different paintings.
How big are they?
They're all, so what's that, 16 by 12?
16 by 12?
Like that?
Yeah, good size.
Yeah. And I think my favorite at this point of these, and if people call in, or I also post things on Facebook, and I always love to hear.
We'll make sure we get your
people's
Facebook page out there.
Yeah. So.
Can I tell you which one's my favorite?
Yes, please do.
I think I see a distress up in the left-hand top corner there. And I kind of want to say, are you okay? What seems to be the problem?
Yeah.
And because I see that's the most emotional of it. I mean, the 3 sisters down the bottom left here are, having fun, and that's kind of a fun thing, and then we're shopping. But this person up there there's something to talk about there.
Yes, exactly. And you'll be delighted to know that that's a self-portrait.
Oh! I thought the one on the right in the top was a self-portrait.
Well, that also is a self-portrait. So I found an old photograph
granddaughter
of
jazz
myself.
singer, that's who
yeah,
that
right.
is.
I found that photo and I thought, gee, I don't even remember what I was doing dressed like that.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's kind of, I love that that's the one you like best because I'm more interested in getting the emotion, whatever it is, out and see where it goes. At first it was more about, have I got the nose in the right place?
Right. Well, there's always that technical thing that worries us all.
But then it gets interesting from there. And when I think to myself, okay, what's next? I would like to do more with portraits and think a lot about the background.
Yeah.
And how the background, whether the person is sitting or whatever.
Is there a message you're giving? I mean, are you?
Not yet. I'm not clear what that is.
But you know what I mean. I mean,
yes, I do.
The whole delivery of what
Right.
you're saying.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that the tricky thing for me right now is I'm not sure what the message is, so I'm kind of trying to go and see what builds, what comes.
So is it safe to say that you're maybe the kind of creator, the creative person who will create and then look for kind of where it was I was going?
Look for it,
Yeah.
or
do you look at a blank canvas and say, I'm not feeling right today. I'm going to kind
Yeah.
of get that out on canvas.
yeah, no, I think I'm more likely start and almost feel like, well, I found when I was doing the portraits that the face was emerging.
Yeah,
So it
yeah.
was almost like sculpture.
Yeah.
You know, when I was listening to Elisa a minute ago. In some ways, I don't have a preconceived idea.
Yeah.
And
It's
I've
an
always,
adventure.
Yeah, and I've always said I took up painting because I wanted to see what these hands had to say. So if I can get out of the way of my hands and let them go.
That's an interesting way to put it.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah.
If I can get out of my own hands' way. Oh,
Yeah.
write that down. That's great.
So, we'll see.
How about your working environment? Are you fortunate to have a space where you can work?
I have what used to be a dining room,
Same
which
way
is
at our
now my
house.
studio.
Yeah, the same way in a lot of artists'
There's
houses.
good light in there, and I don't give dinner parties anymore, so why not use it for that?
That's great.
And I have a group, like Elisa, I have a group of friends that we like to paint together once in a while, and
You guys are
we
like
can
from
all
the same
fit
part of the country.
we
aren't you?
are, exactly,
Yeah, you're out
but we
in the
didn't know
woods.
each other, so.
Well, that's great.
been
Now there you
interesting.
go. Now you got
Got
a
a new
neighbor.
friend.
That's
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
fantastic.
Yeah.
When you're working in your studio, are you working on several pieces at the same time?
I like to do that,
Yeah.
especially if I'm not quite sure where I'm going.
So you run into the same thing that she was talking about, where maybe you'll be working on a piece and then kind of not stumble, but kind
Right.
of
Come
get
to
up
an
to a point.
impasse.
Yeah, come
Yep.
up to a point where you think you might want to stop and
Right.
take that walk around the block.
Exactly. And it seems to help because, as I say, I don't have a finished product in mind when I start. I have an idea sometimes.
Is it something you'll sketch out on the canvas and kind of
Well,
work from
I've
there?
done a lot. I've been lucky enough to travel a fair amount right now.
Yeah, yeah.
And when I travel, I do like a sketch a day.
Mm-hmm.
And those kind of inform, like this image that's now on. I
Yeah,
don't
let's
know
take a look at this
if
one,
the
yeah.
viewers can see this, but this is an example of it, but I would perhaps sketch something that was similar to that and then try to be looser when I do a larger
Is
piece.
this a watercolor?
This is a watercolor.
Yeah.
And it's about as large as, well, it's a full sheet watercolor, so
Yeah, yeah.
it's a fairly large piece.
Do you work with heavier paper, 90, 120?
Pretty
Yeah,
heavy.
Yeah, yeah.
And I painted this on the floor. So I
Okay.
was standing down over it,
Yeah.
making all the vague shapes.
Right.
And then it was at the end that I went in with India ink and actually defined the people.
yeah.
And I was pleased with that because it's more unique than, there was a photograph there, but
You did work from a photograph?
there was, in fact, I think it was something I took out of the newspaper in that case. But you'd hardly be able to see the two, see the
Right.
relationship. But I like
love
the
it.
looseness of it.
Yes, I do too. I think it's
Yeah.
beautiful.
And if you could, so now moving to the next one, this was kind of a process of slowly moving, I'm moving kind of away from watercolor now. And
So
more-
watercolor's not your your primary medium? Are you
I
working with
spent the
acrylics
first
and
8
oils?
years of my 12 years doing mostly
Yeah.
watercolor.
Yeah, yeah.
And now I'm moving much more to acrylic.
Yeah.
This one actually is watercolor with gouache on top of it, which is
my.
a water-based but a stronger paint. But again, what I was liking was this sort of mass of people.
I can hear the music.
You
Yeah.
can hear the music. And this one, just out of interest, is the one that's going to be in the Boston City paper
Oh, this is the
next week.
So you got a cover of the Boston City
Yeah,
paper.
I did.
Congratulations, that's
yeah,
awesome.
I'm very excited about
that's
that.
great.
So we'll see. We'll see
This
how it
week,
comes out
maybe
the
next
paper.
week, is it
this
coming?
week or next? I can't.
Well,
quite
they're going to
remember.
see that color, so they'll
Yeah.
find it. Yeah.
Yeah. So then, moving. The other thing that's changing for me is moving more towards abstraction.
Yes.
And I'm still a little uncomfortable with it, but once in a while I come up with one I kind of like. And this again is watercolor, but but I love using India ink to make it come alive.
Yeah, you know, that's something I'd never thought of coming back with it after the fact and kind of detailing it with that.
Right.
That's a great idea.
Right. So I'm almost losing the watercolor as background. And
yeah,
then,
and you're
I mean,
filling
what a
in
weird combination of things here. I don't even remember what the still life, you know, I see a bottle there, but I don't know what all the stuff is. But,
that's great. You know. What is this stuff? That's beautiful. Oh, look at this.
So now this is a brand new piece that I thought would be fun to show because it's kind of where this still life idea is going. Now everything's falling off the table, right?
Yes.
And without planning, it's funny, I've been looking at this a lot because I've just finished it. And I keep seeing, if you look in the upper left, there's sort of a bird that's going to fly off there.
Yeah, I also see a bowl of potato chips.
Yeah. And
in
then
a
down the
vase.
bottom there, is that a hand or is that a lily? I don't know. There it all is.
That's great.
And
well, you're leaving your work up to the interpretation of the viewer. And
I'd like to do
I
that.
think that's kind of exciting.
Yeah.
That's a kind of a cool. Do you have any shows coming up?
not at the moment.
Are you with Susan? Are you
I
with,
am,
you
with Suzanne.
With,
Yes.
with Canvas Fine Arts.
Canvas Fine Arts.
Yeah, so there's a lot of information people can find from you there
Yes,
with
and
that.
we have small gallery spaces there.
Yeah.
And then I have also a Tally Forbes gallery on Facebook.
On Tally Forbes Gallery. You know what we're going to do? We're going to link all that up. I think Canvas Fine Arts is linked up on our website now.
Yep.
But we'll make sure that your information kind of gets
That's
on
great.
there as
That's
well.
great. So this piece here is one that I just posted this week. And if you can flip to the second piece, it's the same. There it is on its side. And
You haven't decided which way
I
it
don't
goes,
know
have
which
you?
one I
You
like
haven't. This is
better.
landscape or portrait, have you?
I mean, it's totally different on its side. Isn't that funny?
I see dancing again here.
Yes. But this is dancing, and the other one, I don't know what. It started.
There's that one.
That one started.
I see people sitting on the couch and watching TV here.
That's right. But
And
in
the other
fact-
one is they're dancing.
But in fact, in the
that's
vertical
fabulous.
one.
Thank you. You're on the ball in there. That's great.
The other one, it's a bunch of people sitting on a bench. They've just taken a walk on the beach and they're about to put their shoes on.
Very, very good.
But that's a repaint. That's another thing that I'm doing is looking at old paintings
works
and saying, I could make this better. So here's the last piece that's a kick. Because what's happening now for me is I want things to pop off the canvas.
Yeah.
So this is 3D. The only attachment for all the colored images is smack in the center. So you can twist the dial and move those things around.
Oh, that's fun.
And I'm playing with all sorts of things like that now. So who knows? Maybe next time I see you, I'll be a sculptor instead.
Well, I think art is an adventure regardless.
It is.
You know, and
is.
I think it is fun to jump from mediums, and I've done it too, you know, and then later combining, you know, the learned processes.
That's right, to go back
stuff.
and see, like, I just spent some time recently pulling photographs from the last 12, of my paintings from the last 12 years
Right.
to see, well, where am I going?
Yeah.
I don't know. I just think I'm going somewhere and then I go right back to something in the beginning again.
You know, we were talking
fun.
earlier about how the interns are learning how to do live television here at BNN. It's one of the great things that we do here.
Yeah.
They're screaming at us from the other room because we're running out of time.
Okay.
Tally, I'm so sorry. Will you come back?
Sure, of course.
Come back anytime, of
Sure.
course, to come and
Wonderful.
spend some time with us. Well, maybe we
Always
should
a pleasure.
maybe we should show them what happens if the people just keep on talking past their time. No, I don't think we should
That's
do
not so fair.
You say goodbye with us, please.
Goodbye. Thank you.
Listen, gang,
Thank
thanks
you
an
very
awful lot
much.
for being here with us. Go see Tally's work at Facebook. We're going to link everything up to our site
Perfect.
so that people can find you. Listen, gang, get out and do something artful for yourself. We'll see you down the farmer's market. Come on by and join us. There's going to be a lot of fun this year starting on June 3rd. And like I like to say every week, please keep in the forefront of your minds our mothers, fathers, sons and daughters, aunts and uncles, nieces and nephews on foreign soil. Please
Yes.
do something artful and remember them, okay? Because we want to get them back home soon, right?
You're right.
Hey, listen, gang, see you later. Bye-bye. Thanks for
Bye-bye.
being here.